What was happening in 1934? That's the year when Babe Ruth hit his 700th home run, Shirley Temple starred in her first movie, and TWA completed its first commercial flight. That's also the year when a little community college was born. Then it was called Oceanside Carlsbad Junior College. Time passes. We live and work from day to day and don't realize how much is different. But then you reach a milestone which prompts us to look back. And that's when we realized how much has changed. In 1934, when a furnished house in Oceanside rented for $13 a month, the Oceanside Carlsbad High School District voted to establish a community college to be located in one wing of Oceanside High School. Oceanside Carlsbad Junior College, or OCJC, opened with 20 faculty members who taught about 130 students. World War II dominated the 40s, and this was no different at OCJC. In 1943, enrollment dipped to 55 students, most of whom were women. When word got around that women at the college were taking courses like welding, the media took interest. OCJC graduate Eleanor Hagan's photograph was featured on the cover of Newsweek. Later in the decade, enrollment picked up as veterans took advantage of the GI Bill. In response, the district expanded its course offerings and added a night school. During the 50s at OCJC, most of the student activities revolved around sports, especially football. In 1959, Life magazine visited the campus to meet the 72-year-old homecoming queen and capture shots of her with football players and cheerleaders. By the end of the decade, the college had outgrown its space on the high school campus and needed a new home. The 1960s brought big changes in the country and big changes for the college. In 1961, voters approved a bond that provided the money needed for a new campus. The property was purchased for $575,000. A few years later, the college moved to its present hilltop location.
We used to call this the Rock because before this, once you got off on 78, there were no homes, no anything around this area. So you drove up to the top of the hill, which was Maricosta College. It was the only thing that was here. And a big boulder was up here, so we were looking around, this got to be the Rock, you know.
On September 21, 1964, 1,790 students enrolled in classes on the new campus. After the first semester, they sought a new name for the college. Gloria Carranza, then student body president, suggested Miracosta, Spanish for Behold the Coast. The name was a natural. Miracosta was flourishing, and during the 70s, the college grew from 2,000 to 9,000 students. Despite the growth, Miracosta retained its commitment to the success of each individual student.
It was good because the classes were small, and the professors, everybody here knew each other, so you kind of couldn't get lost. So if you weren't coming to class or you weren't doing your work, you know, somebody was kind of watching over that.
In 1972, Miracosta took over Oceanside and Carlsbad adult education programs. Then San Diego High School District Service Area was added to the college district, and Miracosta began offering college classes first in Solana Beach and then in Del Mar. In 1973, Miracosta welcomed what has now become a landmark, the Blaney Tower, and later in the decade added an auto body shop, a children's center, and tennis courts. With all this expansion, the diversity of the student body grew, and women participated in athletics for the first time in college history. In 1980, the college purchased a site near the San Elijo Lagoon in Cardiff. 8 years later, after much negotiation with the Coastal Commission, the San Elijo campus opened its doors. The first semester, there were 2,500 students, 1,000 more than were expected.
Well, it was a much smaller campus. We didn't have this great student room. I think the The lunchroom was vending machines, and the trees hadn't grown up so much, and it wasn't as complete of a campus, but it was a very friendly campus.
On the Oceanside campus, a new theater opened, and the construction didn't stop there. The Student Center, complete with an ocean view, opened in time for the start of fall classes in 1990. By the end of the decade, MiraCosta had nearly 11,000 students. The 1990s were truly the electronic age. By 1998, 100 million people were plugged into the internet. MiraCosta kept up with this technological boom by adding new high-tech buildings and programs. Long gone were the days of waiting in line to register. In 1997, MiraCosta offered touch-tone telephone registration. The Adult Learning Center opened in 1992, and the Oceanside campus built a science complex. The college offered its first online education course in 1995. That number grew to 22 classes just 4 years later. While the student population and course offerings continued to grow, alumni remember the campus as being small and friendly.
I would spend large periods of time in the student center by the cafeteria, and I loved the windows because if you looked on the right kind of a day when there weren't too many clouds out, you could see the beach. And I remember sitting in there eating lunches, and maybe like once a week you'd see one of your professors in there go to eat their lunch, and it was always kind of fun to go sit next to them and ask them questions about their profession and their discipline and what they teach and everything. And it was just really casual, and the professors were always accessible, as they still are now.
In the 2000s, enrollment reached a new high as the college completed projects that put it on the map for its technological and arts offerings. In 2000, the Adult Learning Center relocated to its current location and was renamed the Community Learning Center. During this decade, MiraCosta also opened the Child Development Center, Library and Information Hub, the Biotechnology Facility, and the Horticultural Complex. On the San Elijo campus, there was a new student center. MiraCosta also made big investments in the arts with a beautifully remodeled theater, a new creative arts building, and the concert hall. In 2014, MiraCosta celebrates 80 years of educational excellence. The college enrollment has ballooned to nearly 15,000 credit and an additional 5,000 non-credit and fee-based students. And today, MiraCosta enrolls approximately 1,900 student veterans and an additional 1,000 of their family members. Students are taking more online Friday and Saturday classes than ever before. And in 2013, the college opened a new high-tech science lab that runs completely on power generated from the sun. As the decade rolls by, MiraCosta College continues to expand and grow, attract new population of students, and adapt our facilities and programs to meet the changing needs of students and the community.
So as I think about the next 80 years of MiraCosta College, I'm very optimistic about our future. Our foundation is solid and strong. We're going to build on the excellence of the last 80 years and look towards the future with great hope and optimism that we're going to continue to serve this region with excellence and the care and attention that it deserves.
Babe Ruth, Shirley Temple, and TWA have all faded away into the history books. But MiraCosta College continues strong. Through all this, one thing remains constant: MiraCosta College, shaping minds for success and transforming lives through education.